Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I have received so many emails and comments, people requesting for a video on how to become an au pair in Luxembourg. So I did a little bit of some research, and there's a lot of information regarding how to become an au pair in Luxembourg. So let's start by defining who an au pair is. An au pair is a young person who lives with the host family from another country and supports the family with childcare in return for full board, lodging, and pocket money. Au pair takes an active part in the family life. So now that you know who an au pair is, let's now talk about some of the requirements that is needed for someone to be an au pair. The first thing, that the candidate is supposed to be of the age between 18 and 30 years. And the person should have the language skills, for example, good level of English, basic knowledge of Luxembourgish, German, and French, because those are some of the languages that are used in Luxembourg, as I've always told you guys. And then also should have some kind of education level, like an high school diploma. That is like, I think, in Uganda, I think it's about secondary. High school is secondary. So, yeah, and then also you should be in very, very good health. I mean, they're not going to employ someone who is sickly, you're prone to disease and stuff like that. So you need to really be in very good health. And then your marital status needs to be unmarried without children, because you're coming to take care of a family. So it's important that you do not have any kind of like attachment to something back at home. Let's, for example, you're married or you have a kid. So that makes it a little bit harder. So you really need to be single and unmarried. The au pair rules for an EU citizen are quite different from a non-EU citizens, but I'm not going to talk about the EU citizens today. I'm going to be mostly talking about the non-EU citizens. So if you're a non-EU citizen, these are some of the rules that you need to abide by. So the first one is you need to be between 18 and 30 years of age. And then also you need to be in position to speak one of the host languages, because in Luxembourg, as I told you, the languages are Luxembourgish, German, or French, and then, of course, English. So if you can speak one of those languages for the host family, then you can also go ahead and apply. So, and then also you have to have at least a high school diploma, which I mentioned for, I think in Africa or Uganda, for example, it's your completion of your senior 6 secondary education. So, and then you also don't have to have any ties with the fourth degree, inclusive with any of the host family members. You don't have to have any kind of relationship with the host family, because it's strictly someone without any kind of relationship. Then you also have to meet the criteria for the visa application. For most of the non-EU citizens, we require visas to be here. Then also you have to be in position to cover your travel expenses and your visa expense. So if you meet all the above criteria that I've mentioned just now, then you're able to apply to be an au pair in Luxembourg. So now that we know that, let's look at the steps that you have to take to getting an au pairing in Luxembourg. So these are some of the steps that you can take in order to apply for an au pair in Luxembourg. So the first thing that you have to do is to go and look for a host family. If you're coming to work as au pair, that's the most important aspect of it all. But this is the hardest part, because many people struggle to find honest family or families to come and take care of. So during my research, I came across quite a number of links that I'm going to leave for you guys to go check them out. And perhaps this may lighten your search and make it much easier for you. And I really hope any of you is successful in that. So I'll leave the links and you can check that. Then the second one is you have to check the validity of your passport. Your passport has to be valid for almost 6 months, I think. Like when you're traveling out of your country, your passport should be valid enough to enable you to travel. And then the third thing that you have to do is sign a contract. So after you've done the research and you've found the host family, you must ensure that you sign a contract before you come here. So the host family will assist you in most of this area. And then the fourth one is that you have to apply for an au pair approval in Luxembourg. And this is handled by the Ministry of National Education. You have to go, there's a form that you have to complete, and then you have to attach all the required documents that are needed there. And then you have to send that application to your host family along with all the other required documents so they can submit it to the National Youth Service. I think it's called the SNJ. I will leave a link to that as well that can help you guys do that. And then the fifth thing that you have to do, you have to apply for a temporary stay in Luxembourg. Before you arrive in Luxembourg, you need to apply for a stay at the Department of Immigration, the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I think they're in charge of that. So you have to attach your passport, your birth certificate, and that au pair approval document that you got from the ministry. You have to apply for that so they can give you a temporary stay in Luxembourg. All these things are happening when you're still in your home country. Then the sixth thing that you have to apply for a visa. After that, you have confirmed that the list of the documents required for a visa in Luxembourg with the local embassy. For Uganda, as I mentioned to you guys, you need to deal with the Brussels embassy. They'll be able to help with all that. So, and the type of visa that you're applying for is a C type of visa. So you have to apply for that. And then you also have to submit arrival declaration. Within 3 days after your arrival in Luxembourg, you need to file for declaration to allow you to stay in Luxembourg, which is very important. And then the eighth thing, which is almost the last, is you have to apply for a residence permit. So within 3 months of being in Luxembourg, you need to get residence to be able to live in Luxembourg. So you have to go ahead and do that. So I will talk about the different documents that is needed for this, but that's the first thing that you have to do. And then you have to register yourself with the CCSS, that's the Communal Center for Social Services. So you have access to health and accidental insurance for your whole stay that you'll be in Luxembourg. So guys, these are some of the steps that you can take to apply to become an au pair. I hope this information will be helpful because you guys were really demanding for this video, and I'm glad that I was able to do that. I will leave all the links that I used in my research to read about this au pair thing, and you guys can also read further. And then good luck in your search to become an au pair. So thank you guys for watching, for listening. I really appreciate you guys. If you know you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share. Let's grow my channel. Let's be bigger. And yeah, thank you and have a good day. Bye.